Okay, so what does my manifestation process actually look like step by step? In this video, I'll take you through exactly what I do. From the moment a desire appears to the moment it shows up in the physical world. The most important thing to remember is that manifestation starts long before you do anything. It starts with a shift in identity. So let me walk you through my entire cycle. So when a new desire shows up, most people immediately judge it. Is it realistic? Do I deserve it? What if it doesn't happen? This is the first place people go wrong. My first step is simple. I allow the desire without analyzing it. If the desire exists, it already has a path. My job is not to ask how. It's to acknowledge that something within me is ready to experience the next stage in life. I don't push it away. I don't shrink it. I don't make it more reasonable. I let it be what it is. And I remind myself that desire is not lack, it's an indication. It's the future calling you forward. This shift alone removes a lot of resistance. Most people try to manifest while simultaneously blocking themselves with guilt, doubt, or overthinking. I strip that all away. Desire is neutral. Desire is direction. Once I accept it, I'm ready for the next step. So this is the part where people complicate things. The moment I know what I want, I don't start planning. I don't map out a route. I don't try to predict obstacles. That's the old conditioned mind trying to take control again. Instead, I do what Neville Goddard taught. I decide the end, the final scene, and I move straight to that. Not the middle, not the progress, not the how are things going so far, just the result. For example, last year we wanted a new home, so once we knew which one, I created the end scene. Sitting in that home, looking around, feeling a calm sense of ownership. And that's it. The scene is simple, final, and emotionally complete. I'm not imagining phone calls, estate agents, paperwork, negotiations, or timelines. None of that belongs in the creative stage. That's the world of effects, not the world of cause. My only job is to define the state, the identity, of the person who already has it. Once that was done, the desire stops feeling far away. In my mind, it becomes normal. This is the beginning of assumption. So this is the part that most people misunderstand. They think they need euphoria or a strong emotion, but you don't. I'm not trying to feel excited. I'm not trying to feel high vibration. I'm not forcing anything. What I'm looking for is a quieter, deeper emotional tone. That familiar feeling of something that's already true. It's the same feeling you have when you think about a memory that definitely happened. You don't argue with it, you don't question it. You don't force the emotion, you just know. That's the feeling I anchor. I take the scene from step 2 and let it feel normal, almost mundane. Like it's been in my life for years. This is the secret behind getting rid of resistance. Nothing inside of me feels like I'm lacking anything. I'm simply remembering a future moment. When I reach that state, whether it takes 20 seconds or 2 minutes, I stop. I don't drag it out and I don't overdo it. I just reach the feeling, acknowledge it, and then move on. People think that repetition is the key, but it's less about repetition and it's more about acceptance. Once I accept this as real internally, something shifts in me. The neediness drops and the desire stops feeling like a desire. It starts feeling like identity. That's when manifestation becomes inevitable. So this step is rarely talked about, but it changes everything. Once I accept the new end scene as normal, I immediately look for the thoughts, behaviors, or environment that contradict it, and I cut them out. Not because they're negative, but because they don't belong to the version of me who already has what I want. For example, if I'm manifesting financial growth, I stop entertaining any conversations where people complain about money, because the version of me in the end scene would not take part in that. If I'm manifesting health, I stop identifying with past labels or old habits that belong to the previous version of myself. When I manifested a new home, I stop reinforcing the narrative that my current home is the only option. This is where identity shifts happen in real time. I refuse to think like the old version of me. I don't argue with doubts. I don't negotiate. I just stop being that person. Manifestation is not about forcing a new reality. It's about retiring from the identity that kept you in the old one. The more I do this, the more the new reality feels natural. And the moment something feels natural, it begins to reflect. So here's where people sabotage themselves. They plant the seed, but they dig it up to see if it's growing. I don't do this. Once the inner click happens, I carry on with my life, but with a subtle shift. I respond to everything as the person who already has the desire. If something contradicts my assumptions, I don't panic. I don't start doubting. I simply say to myself, that belongs to the old timeline. I move on. This is what people misunderstand about living in the end. It's not about pretending or forcing. It's not about walking around telling everyone that you've manifested something before it appears. It's a quiet inner decision. I refuse to return to the old identity. Life will test you, not because you're being punished, but because the old momentum is still burning off. When that happens, I don't collapse. I stay in the new state because I know the three-dimensional world is always lagging behind the internal shift. And this is where manifestation becomes stable. Now, some people think they need to work for their manifestation, but all of the work is internal. In the outer world, I simply follow the impulses that naturally show up from the new identity, not forced actions, not desperate actions, not actions based on fear, just the simple nudges that feel obvious and natural. Sometimes I'm guided to make a phone call, to research something, or to simply rest and do nothing. The difference is that the action's coming from alignment, not lack. This is why people mistake manifestation for coincidence. When you're in the right identity, life lines up effortlessly. You meet people you wouldn't have met. Opportunities appear without strain. Solutions show up that the old self could never consider. It's not magic, it's a law of correspondence. As within, so without. So there's always a period where the old world still appears. Old patterns, conditions, and evidence. The untrained mind panics here and says, see, nothing is happening. But I know better. I don't fight the old reality. I don't react to it. I don't use it as proof of failure. And I let it fade. When you stop feeding the old reality with emotion and attention, it crumbles all by itself. This is the moment where the physical world begins to shift in ways that seem impossible. Not because you forced anything, but because you've stopped reinforcing what no longer matches your identity. By the time the manifestation turns up in the physical world, I'm not shocked or overwhelmed. I believed it, and that's why it showed up. When it arrives, I treat it as natural, because for weeks I've already lived with it internally. And this is one of the most powerful signals you can send your subconscious. Receiving what you want without surprise tells your mind that this is normal. That's how you stabilize the new reality and prevent it from slipping away. This is also why people manifest something once and then lose it, and assume that manifestation doesn't work. They've never built the identity that matches the result. They treat it as a miracle instead of the standard. When something arrives, I appreciate it, but I also accept it. This is the end of my cycle. Let me know how you get on with this, and thank you for being here. As always, I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye for now.